Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show. We're your hosts, Ben and Ethan, and we're excited to bring something new for you today. We're going to be talking about some of the hottest takes in the tech industry for 2023. With that, we'll go ahead and get started with our first hot take. We're going to determine for you tonight whether these are good takes or really bad takes. And we hope put in the comments as well what you think. Give us your opinion as well. So the first hot take, the Cybertruck isn't as overpriced as everyone says it is for everything you get with the price you pay. Ooh, okay. So some interesting things with this. Cybertruck, it's finally starting to come out into the wild. There are going to be, it's finally being produced and going to be delivered. This is what, 4 years since the crazy unveiling back in 2019. With this, it's kind of an interesting thing because right now we've got the new specs for the truck. We've got the new pricing for it. One of the things is the specs are not as they were promised back in 2019. And the price is definitely not what it was promised in 2019. 2019, we had, I believe the starting price was $39,000 for the Cybertruck. And I believe the top tier, their tri-motor, at that time in 2019 was about 70,000. For everything that they announced in 2019, like this seems like a really great deal. Now we get the actual Cybertruck, and the minimum price is, I think, $60,000, and it goes into the six digits from there. The range isn't what is promised. It was originally promised for 500 plus miles. Now 340 is the top that you can get. And so it just doesn't seem. I think the problem was that they announced what it was going to be so long ago, before it was even made. And that's kind of the problem. If you announce stuff way before it's like even gone through the R&D and everything, it was just overpromised and underdelivered. And I think based on the market as it is now, with electric trucks, it's probably on par, but because we had that announcement in 2019, it kind of makes this underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, everyone signed up for the what is it, like $100 initial like buy down to put your name on the list, to put on the wait list for it, because it seemed like a crazy good deal for what you were going to get. I'm trying to think about this hot take. Like, it's not as overpriced as you think it is for what you get. And maybe they're right. Like, maybe they are right, because I literally am in the market for a new truck. Okay, I'm looking for gas or diesel, not electric. And this price range starting is a little high. Starting is high. But like, I feel like this is a lot of truck. I mean, the top range, 845 horsepower, 10,000 pounds of torque, 320 miles of range. I mean, that's not bad. It is 100K though, and that's pretty expensive. So, but like to get an 845 horsepower truck, you're going with like the really beefy trucks that they have out there, like the Raptor R's or the Raptors. And Raptor R's are going for easily six figures, and so maybe that's true. Like the Cybertruck isn't as overpriced as everyone says it is for everything you get, but I personally think that it's overpriced because of what was promised 4 years ago. And
Yeah.
so way above everyone's expectations. And it's like, whoa, come on, man. Like I put $100 down for a $40,000 truck and I have to pay like 60,000,
Mhm.
50% increase in price. I don't know about that, man. You know, and
Yeah.
I've also seen like videos of it like not performing well in off-road scenarios. So I don't know. That's a hot take, dude. I disagree with that.
Yeah. I I don't, based on today's standards, I don't think that it's overpriced, but it's overshadowed by the 4-year-old unveiling, or pre-release, which I guess shows that companies should stop talking about stuff they haven't released yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just just wait till like it's almost out the door.
I know. I'm trying to think of like the strategy. Like what's better, Like we saw this like video games like Halo. Sorry, I'm adjusting my light. Like I'm trying to figure out what to do here with the light. It's just bugging me. We saw this with Halo, like video game wise. Like announce all these cool features, announce all these amazing things, and then under deliver.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone likes that.
No.
But they do it because it generates hype, pre-orders, people are anticipating, and it signs people up, gets them in the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I like. If I'd rather overhype and underdeliver, or but you get like a lot of traction, or underhype, overdeliver, but you don't really have a lot of people sign up in the first place. So that's kind of where they're at.
Yeah, I think as a consumer, I would love to have um um under promise and over deliver.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But as a company, you know, basically Elon, he crowdfunded this whole thing. Um, I mean, basically when they announced this, they got all the pre-orders. With all that money for pre-orders, that funded development for it. They didn't have to spend any extra money. It was all essentially all a crowdfund, is my
Yeah.
opinion for that. And so
That's a
maybe
fair point.
maybe without this, we wouldn't have had the Cybertruck where it is today anyway. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. So maybe that's another hot take of like the Cybertruck was actually just crowdfunded.
yeah, this was a Kickstarter.
Yeah. The Cybertruck was Elon's first Kickstarter.
Uh,
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's a valid point. I think you made a really good point there. Especially since it took like 4 years to develop. It's like, man, you really did just take all that money and then like be like, all right, guys, we promise this. We probably should build it. So
yeah,
let's go build it.
yeah. I mean, and maybe if they would have, released this 2 years ago when they promised they would have, it wouldn't have been as bad. But this truck has been so hyped since then, and now everything it's kind of like it's underwhelming
Yeah.
now.
What do you think of the overall look of the truck?
It's not my style, but I think it's bold enough that it gets new people that wouldn't be ordinarily interested into a truck into the truck market.
Huh. Okay. Fair point. Fair
So
take.
I think from like a business standpoint, it makes sense when are such a saturated market anyway. If you're wanting to bring something new and interesting, doing something bold like this is smart to bring new people into it and get people talking about it.
Yeah, it definitely gets people talking about it.
Yeah.
Um,
What
yeah,
do you, what
that's
do you think
fair.
about the look?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I think it's hideous. I believe it is Uh, inefficient. I think there's a lot of like wasted space with the angles they have. And when I say like wasted space, I'm really just talking about the top half being a triangle. And like if it's a square or a box, you get so much more room inside.
Yeah.
And with the triangle, it's like no one likes living in an attic with angled roofs, man. No one likes living
No one
there.
likes that.
No one likes that. It's just
Yeah, and then the dashboard is just so long with how they have to angle that windshield. And so there's just a lot
yes.
of wasted space up there.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just so weird. I'm not a fan of it. But like I've seen like the pictures. I've seen the Cybertruck promotional pictures of it like in the desert where it looks like it's on Mars. And I'm like, okay, as like a Mars rover or something, like a Mars truck, that's cool. But driving around the city, no. Yuck.
Yeah.
That's
It,
my opinion of it. But
yeah. It's not for me, but I think it's bold enough. Yeah, it could
it is
be.
bold enough. You're right. I can understand why they did it. I don't like it though.
Yeah. All right. Next hot take that I have. Um, if Apple made dedicated GPUs, it would be over for everyone else. Now, this is a bold statement.
Very bold.
So, I mean, when Apple made the shift to their Apple Silicon chips to have everything on one chip, that was such a revolution for their computing arena that it was great. We saw huge leaps of performance from their Intel-based Macs that already had dedicated GPUs to having the single system on a chip. That was great. However, the fact that this says it would be over for everyone else, I think this is a bad take because even if Apple were to make GPUs, they would be competing with NVIDIA, AMD, Intel. They have great GPUs and they're all manufactured for PC. And even if Apple made dedicated GPUs for their rigs or their one rig that actually has PCIe slots that you can do this, has some modularity, I don't think it would be a huge game changer. Game changer. It'd probably be good for some of the tasks that it was designed for, but people primarily buy GPUs for gaming and for video editing, for processing, really intensive tasks that Apple's system on a chip can't quite match apples to apples with. See what I did there. Can't quite match with like NVIDIA's top of the line GPUs. And so I think if they did, it would be good, but I don't think it'd be over. It would be over for everyone else. NVIDIA has made some good strides when it comes to AI, and AMD is doing some really good things with their GPUs, and Intel's making its break into the GPU market. I don't think. I think this is a bad take.
Yeah, I think at least on the short term especially it's a bad take. I don't think if Apple's like, "Hey, we're making GPUs." I think the players in the field would be like, "Okay, you got three other big competitors here, two huge ones that have so much market share. We've been doing this for years, buddy. Like we know margins, we know production, we know like the ins and outs of GPU creation, and they know the tech. And don't get me wrong, like Apple in the past has been known for its innovation, but and then like they've innovated in some aspects in the most recent years, but not too hasn't been too crazy. But I don't think at least in like the first decade they would be any better than the other competitors that we have out there. I mean, maybe after that they'd be like, okay, if we're going all in and invest a lot, maybe that's when they start to pull ahead. But knowing Apple, they would just charge probably double for their GPU and it would perform the same, if not worse, you know?
It'd probably be throttling.
Yeah.
Not enough
Probably.
cooling.
Exactly. So I think it's a bad take. I think whoever made that take is just thinks Apple is like a god that whatever they touch turns to gold, which is not the case. You
No.
know, like we saw with um then they created like the home pods.
Yes, the HomePods.
Just was it Apple? They had like their home devices, right?
Yeah, they had the original HomePod that they sold for an outrageous amount of money that didn't do so well. So they created the HomePod Mini, which they should have started with and then gone with the more expensive one.
Yeah, I just feel like they came into a space that's already been dominated by Amazon and Google, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it better," and then they don't do it better.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of feel like it would be very similar. The only difference is that like those home devices are being used by the same consumer, whereas like their GPUs would be dedicated towards their devices.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, like their devices are well known for creatives, you know, for artists and videographers and photographers. So, in that aspect, I can see why there would be some strengths to it, but I just don't think they would. I don't think they're going to leave everyone behind in the dust.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. And I mean, I think in order for them, if they were to do discrete GPUs and have that be successful, they would need to allow gaming onto their platform and make it easier. But developers aren't wanting to port their games onto a Mac. And because there's no market, I guess, with Macs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's a bad take. Bad take.
Bad take.
All right. Another hot take that I have. Nokia phones used to last for a month, but now people are happy that their phones only last for 24 hours. So I think this is interesting. I mean, we like when cell phones were first starting to come out, we had Nokia phones, which were awesome. If anyone ever had an old school Nokia phone, those things were nearly indestructible, and they would last. Yeah, they would last for days. But now, now people are generally happy as long as their phone can make it to 24 hours before they have to charge it again.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that is because society and me, we always want like bigger screens, brighter screens, faster refresh rate, more features in the phone. All those things consume power.
Yeah.
And I think companies are willing to indulge that want as a society, so long as it doesn't take away from that full day battery life. I mean, every year companies are always talking about how they're increasing battery technology and making it better, but it always seems to be around that one day. And I think it's because of all those features that they're packing in that consume all this power.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think people are content with the 24 hours too, because it's like I go to bed and I just charge my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. I feel like people would probably do that with the Nokia anyway. You know, you go to sleep, you charge your phone. But I agree 100%. It's like the batteries are far and away better than they were back in the day, but they just are supporting so many different power suckers, energy suckers. And the phones now are computers. That's what they are. They're computers, you know? And to be able to power a computer for 24 hours, that's a lot of power, right?
Mhm.
And so I personally am content with the 24 hours because as long as I can get through my day and then charge it at night, I'm happy with that, you know? Um, I don't think I think like the hot take is trying to like point out that like maybe like phone batteries should last multiple days, and I don't think that's right. I don't think they need to last multiple days.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need for that anymore.
Exactly. There's no need.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just charge it at night while you're sleeping, um, all the better. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I think we may have had that need when back in the day when Nokia phones were a thing, but now the need has shifted to higher performance. And so
Yeah.
um, people would be extremely unhappy if the following year's phone had less performance than the previous phone, than the previous year.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Like, hey, your battery's gonna last longer, but it's a slower processor of a phone.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna buy that. Why would I
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah. No one would buy that. No one would trade performance for an extra day.
Agreed.
Well, maybe somebody would, but
Yeah.
maybe that's the hot take.
There's also psychos out there. So
Yes, very much so.
yeah.
All right. Another hot take. Apple Maps is better than Google Maps. Ooh.
Yes. I'm 100% on this hot take.
Oh, you.
100%.
Okay.
100% on this hot take, bro.
Okay. Go for it.
I saw this and I was like, I 100% agree. I've had so many issues with Google Maps. So many. Never with Apple. Never. Well, maybe one or two, but like so rare. It's so rare. I always have address issues with Google Maps. It's like telling me to go in one direction. It's like complete opposite side of the neighborhood, or like it's like a different park that's like two streets down, or like for some reason Google Maps will like flip the numbers, or it'll like use like an old address as the new address. Every
Mhm.
time, almost every time I use Google Maps, I have to like double check to make sure. And so I just don't use Google Maps, you know. Apple
Yeah.
Maps, pretty accurate. Also time, like the time to get somewhere. I feel like Apple Maps is more accurate and it like adjusts as I'm going if I'm like beating traffic or not beating
Mhm.
traffic, etc. So I just I also think like the visuals of Apple Maps, it's just like better interface. It's
See,
just
it seems like it's evolved a little bit more.
yeah.
I mean, I remember when like Apple Maps first came out, like towns were missing. It was sending people to the wrong places. The horror stories that were came in, and Tim Cook having to issue a statement apologizing for Apple Maps.
Yeah. I don't remember this, but I'm sure in its early stages, I'm sure that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the amount of data that you need to have a good navigation um, app is huge. I mean, there's just so much to that. I think Apple Maps has done more to innovate um, since its inception than Google Maps has. I mean, I
Mm.
think Google Maps has been around a little bit longer, but it seems like they've been a little more stagnant as they've gone through. And I often find myself preferring Apple Maps more as well. So I I think this is a good take.
I think it's a great take. I love this take. I love this take. I talk to so many people who use Google Maps, and I'm like, man, I don't know, something about it. Something about Google Maps it just doesn't feel the same, doesn't feel as good. But let me ask you this question. I'm gonna ask you this question.
Okay.
Okay, because maybe I'm just weird. If you're talking to your wife and you're like, hey, I need to go pick up supplies at Home Depot, and she's like, it's pretty late. Are they open? What are you doing to check to see if they're open?
I always go into a navigation map.
Navigation map, right?
Yeah. I I'll either go into Apple Maps or Google Maps to the um search for whatever store to get all the information that I need.
Yep. Same.
Because
Same.
it's more refined. It gets to me at what I need. If I were to put it just in a Google search, yes, I would eventually get there, but then you get all these other ads and stuff that comes up before it. I just want to know
All
what
these
time
links.
yeah, I just want to know what time it opens, the traffic to get there. Always going to either Apple Maps or Google Maps for that.
Phone numbers there. The phone
Yeah.
numbers there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can make a call in app. It just goes directly to your phone app. Beautiful.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you 100%. I meet people who maybe they're psycho. They Google the store. And I'm like,
No,
what are you doing? Like, it's going to take you so long to find.
that's insanity.
It is. It is. They're like, oh, Home Depot? Let me just Google Home Depot store hours. I'm like, you're gonna get like a million Home Depots, man. Like, good luck. You guess what it's gonna take you? It's gonna take you to Max to ask you which one you want.
Yeah.
So hot take of the night from me is navigation is better for getting businesses info. More
Yes.
immediate.
Yes, more immediate.
And, like,
it's there.
Yeah.
Great hot take.
Yep, that's my hot take. That's one of my hot takes. Yep.
All right.
Psychos, man.
Psycho. That escalated quickly.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this, as you tell.
Our passion boils very close to the surface.
That's right. That's right.
All right. The Magic Mouse is the best peripheral. Oh, I'm going to say immediately, this is a terrible hot take.
I agree. And I feel like the person who made these hot takes, I know that it wasn't you, but just pulling them from the internet, whoever made these, I feel like they just like love Apple, you know?
Oh, the Magic Mouse is in the top 5 of Apple's worst designs ever. I mean, you've got the charge port on the bottom, so you can't charge the thing while you were using it. It is designed so poorly for ergonomics that people have had to make 3D printed attachments for this to make it usable.
Yeah.
And this design is old. It's like from the Obama administration and like the first one. So it's just old.
Yeah.
It's probably not that old. However, it's just been around so much and they haven't reinvented it. They haven't re-engineered it to make it better. Logitech, they understand mouses. They know how to make them ergonomic. Use a Logitech mouse.
Yeah. I don't understand why they think this is just like phenomenal. Maybe they think it's just like there's like the touch gestures with it, but like I personally it's a mouse and it's an old style mouse and it like you brought up a good point of the charging port, the ergonomics of it, the feel of it. It looks slick, but I mean, tell me this doesn't look slick. I don't know if you can see that, but this is my mouse and it's a standard mouse. Do you know how much this thing cost me? Like $15 with my keyboard, bro. It's like so cheap. And guess what? Charging on the front, bro.
You can charge while you use it.
Exactly. I was doing that yesterday. So I don't understand what this person is doing, making this hot take is terrible. Magic Mouse is the best peripheral. Terrible
Oh,
hot take.
terrible hot take.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. What do you think is the best hot take?
Ooh,
I mean, not best hot take, best peripheral. Sorry.
best peripheral.
What do you think is the
Um,
best peripheral? Yeah.
so I'm looking at my desk and what I use. Probably, probably my favorite is my Logitech MX Master 3S. Love this thing. It's very ergonomic. The DPI settings, I can go up super high. So with an ultra wide, I don't have to break my wrist to get from one side to the
Ooh,
other.
yeah. That's
With
crucial.
yes, because I mean, if I have the mouse that I got from work, that thing I have to like drag it across my entire desk just to get it through to the other side of the screen. That's probably my favorite one because I love the ability to like hyper scroll, like
Mhm.
especially working with Excel documents and you've got millions of lines of metadata and exabytes of excrement. Yes, the hyper scrolling, wonderful. That's
Yep.
probably my favorite peripheral.
Nice, dude.
What's
I see.
yours?
I don't have one that like stands out because I'm pretty simple when it comes to that. But I think if I had like a really good mouse with like similar to your Logitech, um I mean you even have the hyper scrolling on it, so that's pretty nice. But I feel like the mouse, depending on what you're doing, the mouse really makes the difference.
Mhm.
And I don't think the Magic Mouse has a lot of special features. I don't think it's that much
No,
better than a
I
regular
think
mouse.
the only thing that I kind of like on it is the gestures ability
Yeah,
that you can do with it. I think that's a cool feature.
swiping, that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
but I have so many buttons on my mouse that it completely it I have the ability to do gestures as well,
Yep,
albeit a different route, but
sure.
I
It's
get the same functionality.
yeah, for the same amount of effort. And
Yeah.
so and then you have all the other added bonuses. So personally, I think that's probably the biggest thing is like uh the mouse is the having a really good mouse makes all the difference in the world. I don't really need that, so I go for more aesthetics, which is why I have like the sleek mouse and keyboard. I don't really do a lot of that, you know. I'm pretty straightforward. I know like a lot of gamers, they invest heavily in like really good
Hmm.
mice, multiple
Sure.
mice.
Sure.
Um, and and it's not an Apple mouse. It's not the
Yeah.
Magic Mouse, you know.
Nobody's gaming with that.
No, that's not what it's for. And it's not good to use that. So I can understand why people would say like their mouse is the best peripheral, but I don't think it's the Magic Mouse.
Yeah.
Um, I personally love the 10 key. That's just me.
Oh,
I love the
I
10 key.
me too.
Yep. I think the 10 key is underrated, but maybe that's just the accountant in me.
No, like keyboards that don't have that, I'm like, why? Such a missed opportunity. You
Such a
need
missed
that.
opportunity. It doesn't have to be super big. I have this
No.
keyboard right here. It's not that big. It's got 10 key on it.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Perfect.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You know, just crunch my numbers. Crunch my numbers.
Yes. The 10 key needs to be there.
Yep.
What hot takes do you have?
All right, I got a hot take. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You will be left behind if you don't use AI.
Ooh. That ooh. That's a good hot take.
Good hot take or bad hot take?
I think that's a great hot take.
So I got it from an article, and the article says it's a bad hot take, but
Really?
I think it's a freaking good hot take. I just think this is like the internet, man. This is like the
Yeah.
dot-com boom.
Hmm.
If you are not adopting this and getting on board, eventually you're gonna have to, or you're gonna be grandma. You're just gonna be grandma. Hey Johnny, can you fax me that? Grandma, I emailed it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me why you think it's a good hot take.
I think it is because I'd be unemployed if I didn't have it. I
Dude.
utilize it so much for work, just to do simple things, not simple things, to do complex things, like summarizing stuff, creating stuff. I use it on a daily, and um, yeah, I now that I have it, I can't go to a place where we don't have it. So, I mean, I guess I'm ready for Skynet to take over at this point. I'm all in. Skynet is taking over. It's happening. I'm all in.
All right, I love that.
Yeah, I think I definitely think if you're not utilizing AI to some extent, you're going to be left behind, and whatever you're doing will become obsolete shortly.
Yeah. Or yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be either obsolete or you're just gonna be behind, and that gap is just gonna get bigger and bigger until you become obsolete, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we've
I,
talked about several things from several times on this channel. Like, if you've got to use it in such a way that it redefines on what you do. Like, rather than saying, "Oh, it's taking away this function or this job," you've got to look at it in a way. How am I going to use this? Am I going to adapt my workflow around AI?
yeah, exactly. Instead, yeah, exactly. No, how do you just up level with it
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being like, oh, replacing me? No, how do you leverage it? How do you utilize it?
Yeah.
Um, I'm with you 100%. I think that's a great hot take. You're gonna be
Yeah.
left behind.
Great hot take.
All right, another hot take. You ready?
Yep.
Migrate everything to the cloud.
Ooh. Ooh. I like it, but that's risky business. Everything to the cloud. That's risky business.
Dude,
Ooh.
this is a bad take for me. It's a bad take for me.
I like the idea behind it, but I think the application is bad to do that. I don't think you want everything on the cloud. I like the idea of being able to have all of your information accessible whenever you need it. I think that's great, but there's just some things that you don't want accessible. Because I mean, anytime that it's in a network drive that's accessible over the internet, somebody else potentially can have that. While I like this idea, I think it's a bad take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Trying to think, like, if you could legitimately have a way and still remove all the risk. I don't think there's any way that you could have everything on the cloud without there being a risk.
Yeah, I know, because if it's in the cloud, there's risk, you know.
Mhm.
There's just that's just the nature of it being on the cloud.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the idea of having that much trust to just not have it, like, I don't want to say tangible, but it is somewhat like there's a physical aspect to it, right? Like, I
Mhm.
have this hard drive right here. This is physical. I can access this anytime I want, and there's zero risk, right? I mean, there is risk, not zero risk, but minimal risk. I mean, there's
Yeah.
like deterioration of the actual hardware, but the safety of like this not being online, for me, that's valuable. That there's certain things that I do not want to risk having online, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I
Bad
do
take.
like the idea. If there was a
Mm,
way that you could have everything accessible while removing all of that risk, that would be great.
mhm.
So, I mean, even if you have your own personal cloud that you've developed and have, it's still online, it's still accessible some way through the internet. And if you can access it, somebody else potentially could too.
Agreed. 100%. Yeah. And that's why I just not a fan of that.
Yeah.
There's certain things I definitely put on the cloud, but not
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Not everything. Cool. Yeah.
all
Bad
right.
take.
Bad take. All right. I got another one. I think this one might not be necessarily as hot of a take, but I personally, well, I'll say it. Ready?
Mhm.
It's new and innovative. Therefore, it's better and you should change or upgrade.
Ooh, I say that's a bad take
Bad
because
take.
if it's new and innovative, doesn't necessarily mean that it's better.
I agree.
Uh, I'm all for innovation and better efficiency. I think that that should always be the goal when you're trying to do something, always try and make it better. But if the new innovation does not accomplish making it better or making it easier, then I think it's terrible. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bad take. And also too, like sometimes things that are new and innovative, they might get your goal like more efficiently, but the cost is just so outrageous, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna upgrade because of that, you know. That just does not make economical sense, right? The new Ferrari just came out. It's new and innovative and gets you to from point A to point B faster and looking better, but like, okay, well, I'm not gonna upgrade to that. That's just that doesn't make sense. Or just like the new model of my car, but you tripled the price. It's like,
Yeah.
not gonna do that. Sorry. So I think there's also like an ROI aspect to it, you know,
Mhm.
not just. I agree 100% with the points you made. Just because it's new and innovative doesn't mean it's going to be better for you in any way. But even if it is better, is there an ROI aspect that you need to consider? You know, so
Mhm.
with technology too, there's so many trends and fads that people hop on that it's like I think people need to do their due diligence
Yeah.
first. And I think an example of that is Apple's AR headset that they
Headset.
have. You know, like, okay, it's new, it's somewhat innovative. Even then, I'm like, it's like HoloLens or Google Glass or
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhat innovative. Let's say innovative. Okay, we'll give them that. New and innovative. But it's like 3,500 bucks. I don't need that.
Yeah. I don't need that either. Uh, I, I that's a hot take in and of itself. Their VR headset or augmented reality, whatever their Vision Pro.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It just because it's new and innovative does not make it better.
yeah.
Bad take.
Okay, I got one last hot take.
Okay.
It's for the holidays and my outfit,
Oh, love it.
Buddy the Elf.
Yes.
Elf is the greatest holiday movie ever.
Oh, that that is a great hot take. Um, I I'm gonna say that is false. I
Okay.
I love Buddy the Elf. I have a little Buddy the Elf talking toy.
Whoa. Hey, there you go. That's me with hair.
Yeah, son of a nutcracker.
Son of a nutcracker.
I just like to smile. Smiling is my favorite. I do love that movie. Definitely one of my favorite classic holiday movies. However, I don't think it's the best.
Okay, fair.
I do love it, but I wouldn't classify it as the best.
What is classified as the best?
Ooh, no. See, now this is going to be a hot take. Um, you know, Die Hard is up there, but
I should have known you'd say that. That's a hot take in of itself.
that is a hot take.
On a holiday movie.
No,
I'm all for Die Hard being a holiday movie. Like
yes.
I'm all for that.
That is a hot
People
take.
would argue that it's not.
Yeah. Holiday movie, probably my all-time favorite would be.
Hold on, pause. Don't
Okay.
say it. Write it down. I'm gonna
Okay.
write it down. Come on, looks like a blank piece of paper. Here we go. I'm gonna write it down and see if I get it right. Okay, go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna say Christmas Vacation.
Dang it. I don't know if you can read this. I put Home Alone.
Oh, I do love that one. That's in the top 5.
Dang it. Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas
Yes.
Vacation. Oh, I should have put that. I mean, obviously I should have put it, but that's a really good one too.
Yeah.
I made a really funny joke with one of my old bosses. I was supposed to get a bonus for Christmas and it didn't show up yet, and so I messaged him about it.
Uh-huh.
And he got it approved like the week before Christmas to get paid out the week before Christmas. And he's like, got it approved for it. It's gonna be paid out just in time for the holidays. And he's like, just like what's the main character's name in National Lampoons?
Oh, shoot. Now that you said that, it's
You know his name, whatever his name is, right? Anyway, he's like just like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I was like, yeah, I was getting a little worried. I might have to. I was worried I was going to have to sick my crazy uncle on you to kidnap you for my bonus. And he laughed at that. But anyway, I butchered the telling the story. But anyway, hot takes, man.
Yeah. Okay. What do
Hot
you think?
takes.
Elf, greatest Christmas movie.
Dude, it's up there, man. I don't know if it's the greatest though, because that's so. I think for me, like what is always the throne on the throne for me is just like the most nostalgic one for me, which is every Christmas Eve as a kid. My cousins would come over to our house. We would do a white elephant gift exchange, and then after like that was all said and done, everyone would go home. But then my family would watch the Santa Claus.
Oh.
And that to me is like pure nostalgia. And there's so many scenes in that movie that just like bring back so many memories. So for me, that's my all-time favorite Christmas movie. Even though like from a regular viewer's perspective, it's not like that great of a movie. It's like Tim Allen, he makes a couple of jokes, he doesn't like his laugh or whatever.
I love Tim
But
Allen.
it's just nostalgia for me.
I love that movie. Great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, good movie.
That.
Good movie.
But yeah, I guess my last holiday hot take, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Dude, I agree with you. I actually have a funny story about that.
Okay.
I'm supportive of this being a holiday movie. My buddy and I that I grew up with, shout out to Brandon Cohen, by the way. But my buddy and I, we used to talk about this movie and if it was like a holiday movie, and he would always push that it was, and I was like, I don't know. So one night I was flying Delta during December. I was flying from like a business trip, and it's like they have like a section on their TV screens, like holiday movies. So I click on holiday movies, and like 3 movies down is Die Hard. And I'm like, there's no way that Delta Airlines just put Die Hard under their holiday movie section on their flight. So that kind of sealed the deal for me. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, all right, I guess it's a holiday movie.
Multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, they declared it, you
Yeah,
know.
they declared
So
it.
can't argue with that.
Lethal Weapon, Iron Man 3. All
Oh, yeah, that's right. Iron Man 3 is set during Christmas. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, we want to thank everyone. We're so happy that you joined us for our year-end hot takes. So if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps with our channel. If you disliked it, that other button seems to work all right. Well, all right too. Go ahead and send it to somebody you dislike. I'm sure they could use something to watch. Always make sure you ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss any new content as it comes through. So until the next one, have a great evening and stay classy.
Peace. Happy holidays.